And I'm just going to start doing like little circles. You just want to keep your brush moving. And the white will start blending with the color that's already on. And it gives you all kinds of like cool little effects. But you really don't want this to be bright. You want this to be really, really subdued. So the base color was phthalo blue, sap green, and Van Dyke brown. And then all I'm doing is just putting a little tiny bit of white on the top corner of the brush. Just doing little circles. You just kind of stir it up as you go. Getting pretty close. But before I put that green, blue, and brown mixture on, I covered the canvas with liquid clear. That just makes it easier to put that color on. You don't have to do it. If you don't have liquid clear, you can definitely do it without. It just makes it a lot easier. A lot easier. Alright, let's put just a little bit more in this top part. I basically just want it to kind of look like there's light coming through a bunch of like real dense foliage back there. Alright, so then just real gently go across it, takes out the brush strokes. You can pull it up and down a little bit too. I'm going to go a little bit further down. Alright, that should be good enough. Is that looking alright on stream? Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, that's like an actual filter on Photoshop. If you go in and you can do this little render difference cloud things, this is what it does. It was like one of like my favorite things to do when I was messing with Photoshop a lot. Later on, yeah, maybe. Maybe during the fights. Or maybe actually after I get done doing this painting. No, it was DLC that I died on. So I got my hardcore kill on Diablo, but I didn't get the hardcore Reaper guy kill. There was no hope on the part that I died on. It was going through like the DLC area, and I was in, I think it was called like the Tunnel of Plague or something like that. And I went into like this little arena area that had 4 big like columns, and they were like spinning and shooting fire out, like big streams of fire. And then like 50 enemies were in there, and then a whole bunch of gold dudes showed up. And they were like the kind of gold dudes that like split into like 8 more gold dudes. So I mean, I got annihilated. There was no way of getting out of that one, unfortunately. But whatever. I did it once, I can do it again. Alright, so I'm going to grab a little bit of Midnight Black. That's going to be like the tree trunks. We already got some white out. Let me put a little bit of phthalo blue out here. It's going to be one of our shadow colors. And then we got a little bright red. That's going to be our highlight color for the trunks. And then I guess I could probably use a little cad yellow and sap green for the actual leaves in the ground and all that kind of stuff. I might as well put out all the different yellows. So I'll put out some Indian yellow and yellow ochre as well. Might as well. I don't even know if I'm going to use them or not, so I'll just put a little bit of those out. The arcane, is that what the little purple things are? I hate those little purple things, dude. Those are like the worst things ever. Clean off the knife. Alrighty. I think we're set to go. Let me grab a fan brush. Man, I gotta give these guys a serious cleaning. I think my fan brushes are a little upset with me. They're feeling neglected. And rightfully so. Alright, so I'm just going to go right into some Midnight Black, just straight Midnight Black. You don't need a whole bunch of paint on it, but you want to have, you know, enough. Alright, so I'm just going to make a little tree right here. You just touch, pull down. As you get down further, apply a little more pressure. There you go. Quick and easy. So with that, grab my little script liner brush. We'll go into that black. And a lot of paint thinner. You want to try to get this almost the consistency of water. So you want a lot of paint thinner. Right, I'm going to just put a couple little... Actually, you know what? Before I do the little branches, let's make up our little highlight colors. So that's bright red and phthalo blue. So I'm just going to take a little bit of each. There's some white for that, there's some white for that. Got a little red over here. It's way too bright. Add more white to that. There we go, that's better. Alright, so there's our white. We'll go over here and grab a little bit of blue. You grab a little black too, just to dull it down. There we go. So that'll be highlight, that'll be the reflected light. Grab a paper towel. You started using Charlotte. Charlotte's probably my fave. I like Charlotte a lot. A little tip for Charlotte when you're wanting to like go farm her skills, get her heal real early. Because it's a pain in the butt to get heal when you're like super high maxed out. It's really difficult then. The sooner you get heal, the better off you'll be. Alright, so I'm just going to get a little tiny roll of paint. Hopefully you can see that. And now I'm just going to, you have to decide which way the light's coming from. I'm going to have the light coming this way. So on this side, I'm just going to touch. And it's going to grab whatever it wants off of the knife. I'm just going to follow it up. That's all there is to it. You just touch it and it'll pull off what it wants. Very easy to do. Alright. So now we'll go over to the blue. And grab a little roll of paint. Maybe it'll be easier for you guys to see it if I'm over like this. We're just going to do the same thing on the other side now. You just touch it and go up this other side. Super easy. Alright. And then you go in with some dark color. I'll just mix a little bit of black in that base color that we had on there. And then you just touch in between these two colors. And just brings it all together. Quick and easy. Alright. Now we can use a script liner brush. We'll put on some little sticks and stuff. Some little arms. There's a couple little sticks. Some little broken off branches down there at the bottom. Right, now we're going to go in and put some leaves on there. I think I'll use the round brush today. This is a nice brush. It kind of automatically does little leafy shapes for you. Alright, so we'll just start up here. Let's put a little indication here and there. Some leaves. Alright, that's about good. So then, I'm going to put like some bushes down here. I think I'm going to use the 1-inch brush. I'm just mixing up a little bit of yellow, a little green, and a little black. Yellow and black makes a really nice looking green in this particular painting style. Alright, so let's just put some little bushes over here. Put in bushes wherever you think they should be. No real right or wrong way of doing this. It's wherever you want a bush. These are little bushy areas. Gotta clean out some of these brushes. Alright, I'm going to go back into the big brush. Alright, I'm going to just kind of put in a little ground area right back here. And to do that, all you do is you just tap. Very, very easy to do. Very, very easy. I'm going to go into some of the other yellows. Just kind of mix them right on the brush. Alright. Just kind of make it go however you want. If you want little hills, kind of go down at an angle and then level it out. If you just want it to go straight across, go straight across. However you want to do it. If an area gets like too bright, you can just tap over it a couple more times and it'll start getting a little duller. It'll start picking up the color that's underneath. Alright, before we get too far carried away, let me grab this fan brush, the one that we made the tree trunks with. And we'll do some more trees. These ones I'm going to use a lot more pressure to begin with, just because I want them to look like they're closer. And pull it further down than that one. That way it'll make it look like it's closer to you. What's up, Zays? You missed the start? Well, if you've ever used Photoshop and did difference clouds, that's pretty much what I did to make it look like that. What up, Zombie? How you doing? What's up, Kappa Cut? I ate some Kappa just a little bit ago. For lunch, I made salmon with cucumbers, tomatoes, and rice. It was pretty darn good. Let's have one more right here. Alright, now we're gonna make a really big tree. Really big tree. Let's do it right here. It was one big old tree. Big, big, big. Let's do one right here. Another big tree. Alright. Those are some big trees. Alright. Now, I'm going to clean off my knife. And then I'm going to start putting on highlights and lowlights, or highlights and reflected light, I mean. Hey, what's up, Mike? Those other monstrosities, though. Ah, dude. Cucumber and tomatoes good, man. It's good for you. Alright, so just grab a little roll of paint. And then just touch it and work your way up the one side. Just kind of let the canvas take off what it wants. Man, I made these really big. Made them big like my muscles. Made them big like Misha Tate's nose. So the cool thing about doing the highlight and low light stuff using the knife is once this painting is all dried, these will actually have a bunch of texture on them. Like it'll actually feel like bark. You just touch and it'll pull off what it wants. On this one, you're gonna do it a lot further into the middle. Like you go up the one edge and then do it a few more times toward the center. I mean, I guess you could even do it like if you're putting snow on a mountain. But both ways are equally as effective. Go to this one. Alright, now we can start doing the other sides. Clean off my knife. That's better. You just want to grab a little roll of paint and then go up the other side. This will just give it a little sense of reflected light. You can do this with a brush too if you wanted. It's probably a lot easier to do it with a brush actually. But I need to practice with my knife. So this is a good way to practice. Doing this and doing mountains will really get you good with the knife in a hurry. Step in front of the camera for a second here. So now you just kind of go in and tap it a little bit. And then I'm going to go back in with some dark color right down the middle. Oh my god, my shoulder gets tired doing that. You gotta cockeye your arm like that. You don't like tomatoes? Can't even enjoy a gyro. Yeah, no kidding, man. There was a, when I lived over in Grand Rapids, there was a little country bar, like out in the middle of farmland, that I used to go to. And the farmers would bring in like all their extra veggies and just lay them out on the bar, so if you wanted you could grab like a carrot or whatever. And one day I was over there and I was just having a beer and there was a whole bunch of tomatoes. So I started eating a tomato and there was a boyfriend and girlfriend sitting down at the other end of the bar. And like it was dead quiet in there, and I guess the chick thought she was being quiet. And she's like, "Oh my god, that's the grossest thing I've ever seen." And like I turned her, I was like, "Dude, it's just a tomato." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't think you could hear me," and all this kind of stupid stuff. But it took me a long time to like tomatoes. I used to hate them. Tomatoes were booty for a long time. Alright, so now I'm just going to take some dark. Just kind of back and forth. Go into some of like the highlight and low light color. You can even grab some of it and pull it over if you wanted to. You don't have to. It just kind of helps bring it all together. Alright, so there are our trees. Lots and lots of big trees today. Alright, so now we gotta start putting in the land again. And now what's kind of cool about this is wherever you want like these trees, however close or far away you want them, that's just where you put the land in. So like I'll show you with this smaller brush because it'll be a little bit easier to get into like the little nooks and crannies. But like let's say I want this one to be pretty far back. You can tap in a little grassy area like right there. So now automatically, all these other ones are closer. So it's a real quick and easy way to do that. Let's say I want this one to be further back than this one as well. You just come over here. You see, now that one's further back. And the opposite is true. Like if you wanted this tree to be more forward, you just grab some of your dark color and you can just pull it forward again. And so now it's further ahead of this one. And you can do that with all these trees. You can keep moving them closer and further away, you know, however you want them to look. Of course, now I gotta go do this again. But it's really easy to move trees around, you know? You can make them as far away or as close as you want them. You don't like raw tomatoes, but cooked is okay? I mean, I guess they have to be like good tomatoes. Like if you're getting tomatoes from the grocery store, those aren't even really tomatoes anymore, man. They don't even taste how tomatoes should taste. They don't even taste like anything. Those are booty tomatoes. Let me clean off this fan brush. And put a little bit more yellow out here. Alright, now let's start putting in more little grassy areas. So we have a bunch of different depths with the trees now, which is what you want. I'm going to let it get kind of darker down here toward the bottom. we gotta go back in and give all the little trees some roots and stuff. So they don't look like they're just kind of floating there. So I'm just gonna grab a fan brush and mix up a little dark. You don't need a lot of paint for this part. Just gonna go down and kind of put a little indication here and there of a root or two. Let's give this guy like a really big root. There we go. I like that. Alright, then we gotta go back in and just touch it up. I think I'm just probably gonna use my little script liner brush. Give a little indication here and there. Now I'll go into the other color that we were using for the reflected light. And we'll just put a little bit over here. There, now they actually have little feet. We can go back in with a 1-inch brush, or a 2-inch brush, or a fan brush, or whatever. I'm just gonna tap right around it. just to set it in the painting a little bit more. Alright, and I think right here I'm going to put like a little path. This would be a place that you could go out for a nice little walk in the woods. I think what I'll do, I'll grab some Van Dyke, a little Van Dyke brown. That'll be like the base color. And on top of that, I'm going to put like a little mixture of burnt sienna mixed with a little bit of titanium white. So, grab dark sienna, Van Dyke brown first. Alright, so I'm just going to start right here. And the closer down to the bottom, start going out further and further. And that'll make it look like the path is going further back, getting smaller. And scrub it into there. Alright, so then now, I'm just going to mix up some dark sienna with a little white. About like so. Clean off this brush. I think I'm going to grab just a tiny bit of paint thinner just to make it stick on top of this dark color a little better. Just nice and gentle. Just kind of skim over the stuff you just put on. Goes right back into nothing. You can go back in with your 1-inch brush. Let's get a little bit of color. And you're just going to tap out to kind of set this path in the painting. just here and there, have some little pieces come out over it. Just helps to make it look like it's actually in there. Alrighty. So now grab some paint thinner and go into Van Dyke. Get it nice and thin. I'm gonna put some like limbs and stuff on all these trees. Big one right there. Going across that one. Another one over here. You can just put these wherever you want them. Some will go up, some will go down, some will go across the trees. However you want them to do. However you want them. Alright, now we got some of those up there. Clean the knife. Need to put on just a little bit more yellow. Man, you go through yellow so fast in this particular painting style. So fast. I'm gonna grab a little liquid white. Just because it'll make it stick a lot easier. We already have like 3 or 4 layers of color going on right now. We have a liquid white, and a yellow, and we'll just started tapping in some little leafy areas up here. Alrighty. I think that will just about do her.